Sydney Sweeney is saying she's got good genes and she just don't care. Nicki Minaj is coming for the gays. Zohran has officially won NYC, and we've got a Gold's Gym Locker showdown. So much to get into. I hope you're ready for it. Let's dive in. This is No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, serve fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. What's up, guys? Welcome on in. It's Wednesday, and you know on Wednesdays, we get spicy. Please welcome back, as you've come to know and love them every Wednesday. We've got Shawn on the right. We've got David Leone, and today we've also got back on No Filter, Tough Talk Ty. Ty, are you ready to have some tough talks today?
Yeah, I am.
Hi, guys. Shawn, how you feeling?
I'm feeling energized is the word that I would use after last night.
Energized.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. David, yeah. I know there was a big election that you were writing on last night. How are you feeling coming into this Wednesday morning?
Amazing. My candidate, I've been managing his campaign this cycle, and he won the mayorship in Snohomish, which had a city council of like 5 Democrats and a Democrat mayor. And then 4 of the seats were up on city council, and the mayorship was up. And we won 2 city council seats, and he won the mayor, most importantly. And awesome. I mean, like, I couldn't be more proud. It was like an amazing experience. He's like a young guy too, young family. So he actually like trusted me and like did what I said, you know, to a degree with like social media and everything. And he was naturally talented already, but it just felt good to like not deal with boomers in politics and like people that understand how important social media is.
Yeah. Did you say Snohomish, like in Washington State?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where my mom lives, in Snohomish County. That's awesome.
Seriously? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Snohomish is, yeah, like the county is huge. I live in Snohomish County, and then Snohomish, the city, is like beautiful. It's like historic.
Yeah, so cute. Yeah.
It is.
Right,
I love it so much.
Yeah. She lives over in Edmonds. Where do you live?
Mukilteo, so just like a little north of Edmonds.
Cool. Yeah, north, right there.
Yeah.
Well, contrary to, I guess, the exact opposite, can I revisit my question, Zack? Because basically the opposite of what happened to David happened to me. We lost all of the elections that we were running, which we were up against, you know, in a major city like Charlotte. Definitely heavily leans Dem, but yeah, we lost everything that we were running for, which we kind of knew many of the seats we weren't going to get. But so, David, I'm glad that you won. A little sad for myself, though.
It was a tough landscape, Shawn. Don't worry about it.
It was. Yeah. It was.
Yeah, people are saying that it's a blue wave.
I think it's I mean, low key a little bit. The thing is that the Democrats actually have stronger messaging right now than we do, because they're more like unified to a degree, and they never let the extremists in their faction actually fracture. Like, they've had very, very vocal extremists that have been a part of the party for decades, and they never let it fracture the party, and they never give each other litmus tests, or what's it called, like purity tests, to make sure that, like, you know, you're a true Democrat or something. But on the Republican side, we just like can't help but split the giant tent that we just, you know, coalesced.
I think there's a lot of egos, going off of what you just said. Like, I think in the Democrat Party, granted, everyone has their egos involved, but I think with the Democrats, I think what they do really effectively is they think longitudinally more collectively than the Republicans ever do and the conservatives do. A lot more I see the Republicans have, like, they have their own agenda. Each person has their own idea of what they need to be doing, and they're unwilling to kind of compromise with the other conservatives to kind of get the ball rolling in the right direction. And then we end up kind of stagnant, or we end up fractured. And then we have a bunch of people that don't end up voting because they don't feel like there's anything for them to vote for. Like, I even saw, like, because even with Mamdani, like, he got a huge amount of women that voted for him. And if you think about it, like, there's no way, if you think realistically, if you do proper messaging, that women should vote for him, like, and the policies that he promotes and all these different things. And I mean, we can talk about this all the time about like how hypocritical it is and how they do this, but it's down to the messaging in the sense that I think that this is just one example because I think there's multiple groups that we're failing on. But I think the women part is also like with Trump, we had a very unified message last November with the whole situation going on with the general election and all that stuff for the presidency. I think for this smaller scale election cycle, I think we got caught up a lot with the different variables going on within the conservative movement, party, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with, I mean, listen, the left is very, it's got a very slim sliver, right? And they're very loud, but they obviously were effective. This is going to happen, though. There's the pendulum that swings back and forth. Trump came back into office, and so everybody on the left, or at least that's still on the left, is going crazy. So they're flooding the polls to make sure that they turn everything blue again. Because, I mean, the reality is there was an absolute mandate that happened at the election last November, which we'll discuss next week. Link Lauren is going to be on, and we'll do a full, 1 year recap since the presidential election last November. That'll be coming up next week on Tuesday. Link will be on with us. But I think so it's that part where everyone feels like they need to, it's an anti-Trump thing. And I think that's what the Democrats did really well is they held this campaign. And normally they've done the anti-Trump thing, but it's most effective now because he's in office and they're using the scare tactics of look at what's going on with ICE and look at what's going on with tariffs and look at what's going on with this. And so it's all these big scary things that they're showing in front of people. And that's how, speaking of the election here in California, that's how Prop 50 ended up going through is because it wasn't even a good, like anybody that understood what it was about, I don't think would be in favor of that. Shawn, I know you said that you're okay with it because other states have been what's the word? Why can I not think of
gerrymandering, redistricting?
Yes, the redistricting. And most people would, I think, in general, want to have a more nonpartisan council rather than, letting these states become fully blue or fully red. But most people just saw the messaging of like, this is an anti-Trump thing. You have to vote yes if you don't want to be part of Trump. Anti-Trump, 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 which it'll be interesting if and when Trump decides to dip out of politics, what their messaging is going to be, because they can't just keep treating Trump as the Antichrist the entire time. But, but it was crazy because it's like even Obama was doing commercials for yes on Prop 50, which is wild. Like he doesn't even live in California. He has nothing to do with California politics. And he's literally out there, which is just, it's such low vibration pandering to just get people to do something because they just have TDS.
Well, I think you mentioned like there are people who are describing this as a blue wave. So here's the thing, like realistically, I did not have high hopes that we were going to win in New Jersey or in Virginia. I did not think that we were, I think that we all kind of knew that Mamdani was going to win in New York. But what the reason that it feels, at least to me, like a little bit more of a blue wave than it actually is, like this was not some sweeping, like across the board, we were unexpectedly losing elections left and right. But we lost districts in New Jersey. For example, Trump picked up 5 districts in New Jersey this past election cycle. And we lost, I believe, I haven't looked at the map this morning, but last night when I was looking, we had effectively lost every single one. So what that tells me is that the GOP and the right, they have an issue getting voters to the polls when Trump is not on the ballot. And the left has a really good time getting people to the polls when it's anything anti-Trump. The entire Virginia race, the entire messaging of the Virginia gubernatorial race was anti-Trump, anti-Trump. So one way or another, Trump gets people to the polls, whether it's the Republicans or the Democrats. In this case, he got Democrats to the polls, and we lost every election.
I think
we lost in massive ways. We should never have lost those 5 counties. That we should have had bigger gains in those counties, but the Republicans stayed home because Trump wasn't on the ballot.
Yeah, I was going to say, one of the points I was going to say is that on the flip side of what Zack was saying, where like it's mobilizing for the left when Trump is in office, I feel like especially after the 2024 win, where we felt like it was just such a big win and such a big mandate, that a lot of Republicans have lazy tendencies. And as soon as they feel like they don't absolutely need to go vote or do something unless they're like guns are being taken away or something, or there's some threat of a cultural thing. They just sit on their asses and don't vote.
Yeah, they go to sleep. They kind of just go
Yeah,
to sleep.
and then to Ty's point about Zohran and in New York City and getting the women vote, I feel like I know exactly why that happened, is because the messaging against him was all wrong. I don't agree that they should have focused on him being a Muslim and different culture and all of that. They hit that so hard, and you're so immediately gonna get pushback from that, especially from women, because they're immediately gonna be like, no, that's racist, that's sexist, or whatever. You know, they should have hit him on his policy. He's a Marxist. I mean, he's gonna bankrupt the whole city. Is that not enough? It's actually crazy, and it's stupid because both the left and the right was attacking him, and they both sucked at it, and they kept like pulling videos of like his old YouTubes where he's like rapping, and I'm like, oh no, you made him seem like a little cringe but like human and relatable, like
relatable to the younger voters especially. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
and those are the people that voted for him, were all of the younger people that in theory they're like, yes, we want, you know, the government to regulate things, we want to tax the rich, we want, which, I mean, anytime you try to tax the rich, they leave. It doesn't fucking work, or they find a way around it, which is exactly what's going to happen in New York. All the wealthy people are going to end up moving to Florida. It's what happened in 2020 under Newsom in California. Everybody moved to Texas. Like, everybody left California. They moved their businesses out of California because it didn't work for them. But even when it comes to Zohran, I don't know if this is the big, I mean, because look, if we look at the numbers, Cuomo got 41%. He ran as an independent. And I think that that's a pretty strong fraction for an independent, and not considering that Zohran barely got 50%, 50.4. He did get the majority, but considering how many people did not vote for him that would have traditionally, I think, been on the left, I think actually shows that maybe there is a bit of a turning point in New York, even though he did win. And I actually have faith, because the reality is, I don't think that he's going to bring Sharia law over to New York. I think that doomsday situation is a bit hyperbolic.
And it backfired.
It backfired. But also, I just don't think his policies are going to ultimately be effective. I don't think he's going to have enough time in office in order to make them effective, number one. And number two, they're going to crumble because they're just not practical.
Well, also, the city's
they
corrupt
sound nice
too. So the city's also really corrupt too. So whatever he tries to do in his little idea, like, he has to come.
It's not going to work
with the entire New York.
We
City
all know that it's like,
that is a mess. Like,
he's just essentially what he's going to do is he'll promise a ton, but what he's actually going to focus on from a political standpoint is a few pet projects that he can market 4 years down the line when he runs for higher office. That we know he has higher ambitions. He is extremely talented though. So like, he shouldn't be underestimated. He's great on camera. He's a wonderful debater. He slayed Cuomo in the debates. He was easily the best on the stage there. He's still really young. He's smart. He has a lot of young ground support, and he's gotten a lot of accept. He's taken advantage of the two like most unpopular figures in New York politics, which is Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams. They're the two like most corrupt and unpopular. When I was working the primary in New York, not a single human being that I talked to that was under 40 wanted to support Eric or Andrew. They only wanted to support Zohran. So I knew he was going to be this like giant thing because he was on everybody's lips, and it wasn't going away.
Fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
He was fresh. He was exciting. He was all over social media. He was, bench pressing. What was it? 10 pounds. He was trying to bench press and couldn't even fucking finish that.
And he was going to the club.
That's the whole point. Like, it was all funny. That was the point. He leaned into the humor. And I think that was part of it, like the social media side of it. Like you said, even the old videos of him rapping, like it's ridiculous. It seems so stupid, but people like relate to that.
Yeah.
And they look at it almost like, dude, I've done dumb stuff on the internet. Like, here we are. Like, and it's like, but I agree with Shawn though, when he said he was energized and stuff like that though, because I agree. And also what Zack said about the numbers, I do think things are changing. I think the numbers do show that there's a lot of people that are not down with the whole socialists of America, kind of the DSA thing that they're trying to push. Like, a lot of people are against it. And I think I saw something also earlier where, I don't know who said it, but I agree with them when they said, because Zohran won, I do think this makes it a lot easier for a conservative to win the governorship. Not easier necessarily, but it gives them a better chance because it gives them a whole bunch of content and information that they can use in their campaign in the future, because Zohran's going to screw up, guys.
Well,
like, there's no doubt.
The pendulum just keeps swinging back and forth.
It's going to be an
a little
example.
to the left, a little to the right. Yeah.
So
Shawn.
I want to point out two things. One, the chart that you had up, Zach, if you throw it back up, you had a bunch of people saying, well, it wouldn't have mattered if Sliwa would have dropped out. But when you do the math, though, like there were a lot of people who I guarantee you stayed home because they said there's no way 100%. That Cuomo or Sliwa wins. So if you would have pulled Sliwa out, I do think that there's a chance. The numbers were close enough that you could have, gotten people boots on the ground to come out and vote and turn Mamdani down.
Like, I absolutely agree with you, Shawn.
How 100%. He won was, like the number. People want to look at these numbers and say, well, when you do the math, that it wouldn't have mattered anyway. No, it actually would have. And then the second thing is half of the policies, if not more than half of the policies that Mamdani put forward in his campaign, he does not even have within the authority of the mayor's office. He doesn't have the authority to bring these things to life. Exactly. Like capping rent and freezing rent is not something that's regulated by the mayor or the city. It's regulated heavily by the state, and he's going to need to get a lot of people on the city council to vote for these things, and a lot of people like this grocery store idea. A lot of these things are not going to come to life because he just simply doesn't have the authority to do it, and he overpromised, and he's not going to be able to deliver. So I agree, there will be a few.
They'll just blame Trump, though.
Oh, of course,
they're going to blame
Trump. They're going to blame
the Republicans.
Like
the Republicans stopped me from.
And let's remember too that
almost
none of the Democrats endorsed this guy. Like it took Kathy Hochul. Did Kathy Hochul even? She maybe eventually.
She kind of actually said the opposite, low-key, where she said that thing where she was like, "I'm gonna if he tries to raise taxes, I'm gonna absolutely not let that happen," or something like that. Like she made out a whole statement saying, "Absolutely not."
And
even Queen Kamala couldn't support him.
And Schumer said, I think he did and eventually kind of endorse, but then he wouldn't even on election day say who he voted for. Like I think that the major people on the political left know that he's political grandstanding and acting, and he ran a phenomenal campaign. Yeah. But in the long term, he's not going to be able to deliver on these things. And I think it is going to push people further to the right, especially in the areas around New York.
Yeah.
I agree with everything Shawn you just said, especially the beginning part about the election, about how the timing of it and how Sliwa absolutely leaving the race could have helped Cuomo win, because taking a snapshot of just the number of voters and using that as an example of like, oh, look, the math doesn't math so that you're not going to make it. It totally ignores the entire thing where even if 1 week or 2 weeks before Curtis had dropped out and completely realigned his campaign apparatus to push Cuomo, and then Cuomo simultaneously had done what he did literally yesterday, where he apologized for all the nursing home deaths and all did this earlier and got ahead of this together. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. People, like you said, because people didn't show up because there were so many people that thought it was a foregone conclusion. And I think 100% it would have been different because it was within, like you said, it's like what he won by 0.1. Let's be so real. Like, guys, like, and for people saying that it's like, it's such a lazy analysis that some of these people out there on Twitter, especially that I keep seeing, like, we're like, it was pointless. It never would have happened. I was like, that's kind of a cope. You guys are coping because you know you're wrong. Like, I also think realistically, drives me crazy.
There's so much power though in seeing that Cuomo ran as an independent and still was able to pull 41% of the vote, which tells me that the diehard, support for the Democratic Party is still continuing to diminish. But I think you guys are right. The Republican Party just didn't feel motivated enough to participate. But then this is what we see happens when you don't participate. Exactly. But if anything, I just think Cuomo and I just think that Adams, like all these guys were just the traditional quintessential old politician
I agree.
That people are just tired of. They don't want to see it anymore. And that's why that's why Trump won. Let's be real, because he wasn't your
horrible
traditional politician.
Yeah, and then also he was up against horrible candidates too. That's the point too.
And just like Mamdani was. And Mamdani was the change candidate. But another thing, Mamdani had 90,000 volunteers in the city of New York. That's insane. Like he's not to be like underestimated. And then the other thing, I would love to like think that like Adams or whatever, Cuomo winning or getting that many votes as an independent matters, but I honestly think it's more of like it's semantics. He originally ran as a Democrat, and then Eric Adams went to independent just so he could be on the ballot with the Democrat and the Democratic Socialists, and then they switched because he couldn't win as a Democrat. And Mamdani wiped him in the primary. So really, I think that's kind of like semantics. But I mean, I do think that overall, obviously, like support for traditional Democrats, just like low-key support for traditional Republicans is flailing, especially among the under 40 crowd. And the party that addresses that the best and sooner and the most effectively will be the party in power and have the most political sway in the next decade or two. Because Republicans were originally doing really well with that. I mean, especially considering, Turning Point, Charlie Kirk, all of that. We are now at a tipping point, though, and it could really go either way because of all this crazy infighting where, like, some of the most popular creators on the right are being attacked by the traditional neocon types. And that's suicidal, man. Like, that's suicidal to me. Like, I don't understand this, like, coordinated. I'm sure some of us would disagree with this, or like some of you may disagree with this, but I don't understand the coordinated smears and attacks on like Tucker and everything. Like, don't understand it from a strategic point of view. Like, how do you think that's going to work? Like,
about the like you're getting funded by Qatar versus you're getting funded by Israel, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, like,
it's like, oh my God, it's driving me crazy.
No, it's insane. You're just pushing people further. I mean, did it work against Nick Fuentes? No, it didn't. He became more popular than ever. So
now we have New York Times trying to prop him up as like, look, did y'all see that yesterday with what they were trying to do? I can't believe it. Like that.
He's more than anything, like what we need to remember is that we won in 2024 based on a very few issues, which were the economy, safety, and border security. And literally none of what wars. The Republicans, and putting America first and ending foreign wars. And everything that the Republican base has been talking about for the last 3 months has been random infighting about funding and influencers from XYZ. And it just is not a message that anyone we're all immersed in this, but the average American family simply does not care.
Oh, it doesn't resonate at all. No, at all.
They just don't care about these issues. So,
and then especially with like people losing food benefits, the government being shut down, all these things that are actually affecting people's daily life. That looks so bad. Like, I'm sorry, June, I was a little disappointed with, I mean, it looked fabulous. I would have loved to attend it, but also it was giving Hunger Games where Trump was hosting a great Gatsby themed Halloween party while food benefits are being shut down the very next day. That's insane. Like, whoever, like, that's actually crazy. Like, I was like, no, this is so bad and feeding into like every possible negative stereotype about Republicans being like Scrooge McDuck with a cigar on top of a pile of coins.
And this was a strategy on the left, by the way. Like, when I look back now, I'm seeing it. The entire strategy was like, I thought these No Kings protests were like a waste of time and it was just useless pandering. It totally wasn't. It was a get out the vote campaign. It was the largest get out the vote campaign that we've seen in a non-presidential cycle. Shutting down the government was entirely strategic, especially for the areas that were Virginia, surrounding DC, a bunch of people who aren't getting paychecks, and they were going to come out and it was all of this was strategic. And I actually think that the push, I tweeted this, but the push for the Trump now pushing to get rid of the filibuster in the Senate.
Oh, big mistake.
This is all a game that the left is playing because they are playing a 4-year game and we are trying to play a
6-month game. Yep, we're playing a 6-month-a-year game. No, I completely agree. Everything you just said. I'm glad you brought up the filibuster thing because that's something that I was even talking to my brother about it. Where I like can't believe that this is something that I feel some people are now falling for. Where it's the Democrats want this so bad, and they want it so bad that the Republicans will end the filibuster because then they can turn around and be like, "Well, you guys ended it." Like we'll be so screwed if they end the filibuster. Like it is absolutely never do that. I cannot even remotely emphasize this enough to anybody listening. Like absolutely not. I don't care who is saying it. They are wrong. Do not end the filibuster. It is, Democrats want this so bad. They have wanted the filibuster ended themselves for so many years because they believe that is the only thing that is stopping them from actually just taking control of everything. It is actually really the only thing. So if you think about it, them trying to play chess and kind of push the Republican Party into, or the conservatives also, into this frame of thinking that, oh, we should probably just end the filibuster so we can fix and do what we want for the next year or two. It is the most hopelessly stupid decision, and it'll show that you are definitely playing checkers while they are playing chess. Yeah. It is so embarrassing that this is even a conversation that people are having on the right at all. Like, we should be ending the filibuster to stop whatever. It's like, absolutely, oh my God. They sound
it makes me really question like who the hell Trump is surrounding himself with in this administration. It feels like he's getting like really bad advice, bad optics advice, bad policy advice, and it's not cute. Yep. Like I had such higher hopes for his cabinet this time, and yikes. I don't know.
Listen, we're only 1 year in. There's a lot more time to go. Horrible. Yeah, listen, we have to hold faith. But I think it's good that we're having these conversations because I don't think there are a lot of people on the left that are having these constructive conversations about what we're doing wrong or what, balls and strikes need to be called rather than just blind loyalty. And I think the blind loyalty will ultimately continue to be, the thorn in their side. All right, we're going to take a quick break to shout out this week's sponsor, and then we will dive into, we have so much more to get into. Sydney Sweeney, Nicki Minaj, lots more tea to get into. But I did want to shout out this week's sponsor, which is Soul CBD. I love me some Soul CBD. Soul is a wellness brand that has THC and CBD products that are designed to help give you that nice elated buzz without the hangover the next day, especially with the holidays coming up. There's so much sugar in the food that we're going to be eating. There's so much sugar in the drinks that we're going to be drinking. So I've opted out. These are my favorite here. They're Out of Office Blue Raspberry, 3 milligrams of THC, but you can go all the way up to 15. Or if you want something, just a light little microdose, you can stop at 1.5 milligrams. Be sure to check out Soul CBD's Out of Office gummies. The Out of Office gummies are my favorite. And right now they're having their biggest sale yet. And that is their Black Friday Cyber Monday deal. You can go right now to getsoul.com and use code NOFILTER for 40% off. And you can save with 40% off at getsoul.com. Be sure to use code NOFILTER. That's promo code NOFILTER at getsoul, SOUL, getsoul.com. All right, let's bring back the boys and let's dive into Sydney Sweeney because she's finally breaking her silence and she is opening up about this jeans campaign. We have a clip from Sydney Sweeney. She just did an interview with, I believe GQ. It was GQ. Yeah. Here's what Sydney Sweeney
talking around this American Eagle ad right now, and maybe we should just talk about it. So, were you surprised by the reaction?
I did a jean ad. I mean, the reaction definitely was a surprise, but it was, I love jeans. All I wear are jeans. I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt like every day of my life.
Jeans are uncontroversial. Jeans are awesome.
Yeah, I like your jeans.
You look great in your jeans. I think I know how you're going to answer this, but I'm going to ask anyway. I mean, the president tweeted about the jeans ad, or Truth Socialed about the jeans ad, and that just seems to me like a very crazy moment for anyone. And I wondered what that was like.
It was surreal.
It was surreal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she addressed it without really addressing it. I mean, what?
Class act. I think she addressed it perfectly without actually really going too hard into the weeds because there really is no reason to go into it. Like, you know what I mean? Because like if she said, the more she says, the worse she'll get. Like the worst response she's gonna get, I think, because of the way people are, especially in Hollywood. So I really appreciated her response. I think, especially when she said the word surreal.
I love jeans.
Yeah, I love jeans. I'm in jeans all the time. Like, and then she's like, when the president posted about it, she's like, that was surreal. You know, I like the word usage because you know what, you can feed into it however you want to feed into it, but you know what, she can have her moment.
How she responded was entirely relatable. Like, I think that any normal human who was in her experience would be like, I did an ad for jeans and there was a response. She went on in that interview though to like, she talked about a couple of other things. She mentions about how she removes herself from this like notion of fame, and she surrounds herself with people who like remind her every day that the real world exists and she lives in it, and what is happening on screen and in the news is not, it doesn't affect her everyday life, and she's always kept her personal life very personal. And so I felt like that, if anything, really sealed it for me when she kind of just brought it down to like, I'm a human being and I did an ad for jeans.
It reminded me
Yeah.
of what was it Best in Show, where she's like, I love soup.
Yeah, just very relatable.
I mean, I think it
Yeah.
also is important. She also made a point to say that she thought that the backlash was kind of inconsequential because she also, the line of jeans also was going to support a charity, or like women's domestic abuse or something like that. I can't remember, something like that, where the money was for domestic violence prevention or something like that. And so it's like, you guys are getting mad about an ad that's actually for charity. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, so.
They were fucking jeans. Like,
And that is jeans.
But it was American Eagle, and she has blue eyes, and it was
and blonde hair. How dare she?
But I'm glad that she's not leaning into like the super hard political, pandering, like a lot of celebrities. Jennifer Lawrence just did an interview, I think it was with the New York Times. And she talks about this, and she says that, because she's been very vocal, but she says like people are just failing to resonate with celebrities.
Politically outspoken in the past. In the first Trump administration, you had a lot to say. I'm curious how you feel about talking out now.
I don't really know if I should. I think like the first Trump administration was so wild, and just how can we let this stand? Like, I felt like I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But as we've learned, election after election, celebrities do not make a difference whatsoever on who people vote for. And so then what am I doing? I'm just sharing my opinion on something that's going to just add fuel to a fire that's ripping the country apart. I mean, we are so divided. I think I'm in a complicated recalibration because I'm also an artist, and with this temperature and the way that things can turn out, I don't want to start turning people off to films and to art that could change consciousness or change the world because they don't like my political opinions. I want to protect my craft.
She wants to protect her craft. I think this
I'm
is
trying not to
smart. I mean,
laugh.
so many
I'm trying
celebrities.
not to laugh. I'm sorry.
It's smart. It's a level of awareness that people have lacked. Like, Rachel Zegler, who was going and putting her politics into fucking Snow White.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. I think that I think that she could have been not just a lot more conscious, just like a lot of these celebrities could have been, and Hollywood types could have been a lot more conscious over the last 8 to 10 years. Because it's been like a decade of this. So I think that it's also like 10 years of them trying to like, now she's realizing that she was part of the problem and that she's going to jeopardize the potential of her movies being successful because people are going to be alienated from even wanting to see her in a film. I also think that it is smart to start thinking about this more. I also do wonder if this is less her actual personal opinions and more something that their studios and producers and all these people have now decided to kind of move towards, because they're starting to see that this is actually a big problem in the industry, where they're now not going to be able to sell as many, get as many people to watch their movies because of these issues. So I'm like tentatively happy that she's moving in this direction, and if other Hollywood types are moving in that direction as well, because they really should know their place. They don't know what they're talking about, and they are just like going around. They have very little lived experience in the real world. A lot of them are undereducated in many ways, most ways. And I think that they really do need to granted, everyone gets an opinion, but understand where your opinion comes from is something they need to really grasp. And I think that's all part of it. All of it goes together. So
I think this feels actually like more authentic to like who she is, because like J Law is actually like super charming. She was like a really big starlet, and that's one of the things that kind of tanked her publicly. But I also kind of feel bad for some of these celebrities, especially when they're younger, because a lot of times the media knows exactly what they're doing, and they will ask very pointed questions, political pointed questions to these people, and then the celebrity will kind of like offhandedly respond or respond what they think is like the PC thing, but the media person knows this is going to be like red meat to like right wingers or
And
like
they'll
other
spin
people.
it.
Yeah, and they'll spin it. And I think Zegler was a little bit of a victim of that. She's also, you know, young and a moron, but she was also kind of trapped by a lot of media people that just like kept pushing this thing. So I do feel a little bit bad, but I think this feels like authentic to Jennifer, because she kind of does have that personality of like, kind of like accepting, chill, like cool, you know, and then her being this like really, really just like fiery, annoying at an 11 political person didn't really fit with her personality. I feel like it was almost more antagonized there because everyone was like begging for sound bites about Trump from everybody during that time.
Yeah.
So I feel like this feels a little more authentic to her. And yeah, I do think probably there's some studio influence too, because like they want to make money.
They're like, shut up so that we
leave.
can keep selling movies.
Well,
Shawn, any thoughts before we move
hold on
on?
1 second. I think what he said also is really important too, because I also agree that potentially also back before, when she was being very vocal, like you said, it was not authentic to her personality in reality. I think that's also the case for a lot of celebrities, because they also thought back in the climate back in the day that they thought they had to be acting like this. They had to overcompensate. They had to over project their disdain or their dislike or all that kind of stuff to kind of exactly. So now, Shawn, sorry, I just had to like say that.
No, you're good. I think the only thing that I would say is like, well, good morning to Jennifer Lawrence and all of these other celebrities. No one has wanted politics in Hollywood and film and sports for a very long time, and it was injected into these things in one way or another, whether it was because the media wanted it to or whatever it was. These activists who wanted to kneel on the football field and bring politics into things, like, this is how the American people, you're talking about how polarizing everything is and how exhausting politics is, of course. And that's why people want to go to the movies and watch a movie and watch the football game. And so it's, I think, coming full circle. Like, these are things that we should keep politics out of.
I agree. We did get a little, not that you guys are fully briefed on this, but we got a little breaking news that just happened just a few minutes ago. Jed Wallace. So to catch people up to speed, this is the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni legal drama. Jed Wallace is a social media manager. He's a contractor that was hired to monitor social media chatter about It Ends With Us and Blake Lively. And Blake Lively accused him of being hired by Justin Baldoni to put out a social media smear campaign. And so he was fighting Blake Lively to get removed because he's like, I have nothing to do with this. I wasn't on the set of It Ends With Us. I didn't sexually harass you. I was not part of this smear campaign that you're alleging against me. And Blake Lively was fighting to keep Jed Wallace attached to the lawsuit. He just got dismissed from New York. Now, it's based off a jurisdiction issue. The judge says that, this is Judge Lyman, he says that he does not have any jurisdiction over Jed Wallace. So Jed is still fighting his lawsuit against Blake Lively in Texas. So that is still ongoing, but he's been removed from the big lawsuit.
Because he lives in Texas, as far as I remember, right?
He lives in Texas, and he was served by Blake Lively in Texas. So he's like, Texas is the jurisdiction, because this is where I live. This is where I operate my business. And this is where you served me. So he's out. And I don't think she has much of a case in Texas. So hopefully he wins that and he gets to get a nice fat payout from Blake.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe she'll settle with him. But that's little breaking news there. And then I wanted to talk about another celebrity that's speaking out, and that's Nicki Minaj. Shawn, what did you think of Nicki Minaj clapping back at the gays on behalf of the Christians?
Well, I think like the post that actually came up was, so she made her post kind of about, this thing praising Trump, about the Christianity, and it's the response from a fan was like, imagine saying this and imagine being this homophobic while your entire fan base is like made up of gays. And she's like, imagine making the persecution of Christians about you being gay. Like, I think that this is just a very level-headed take from her. She's saying thank you for doing something about Christians being murdered around the world, and for stepping in and doing something about that. And I think that anyone should have that very common sense take. And the fact that the gays made it somehow about them being gay is
a perfect response.
It's about Trump, and Trump
exactly typical of the gays.
He's gonna put all the gays in camps. I'm still waiting.
I know. I'm like waiting for my ticket to Mar-a-Lago. Like, hello guys. Like, when am I getting sent? Like, I'm ready. Like.
Yeah. To recap it though, so Trump was speaking out and supporting Christians that are being murdered and in Nigeria, and Nicki Minaj praised him for making that a priority. And I believe the statistics on how many Christians have been persecuted for just openly, praising Jesus in Nigeria, those numbers are astounding. And they're specifically killing, like, there's not a war going on. They're specifically targeting Christians. It's like an actual cleansing.
300,000 is, I believe, the statistic
and
that have been killed.
I think you should note also that it's not also just all over Nigeria. It's a region-specific issue in, like, I believe it's the northern part of Nigeria where they have a very high Muslim population. I think that's also part of the situation going on here, because Nigeria does have a bunch of Christians as well. They do have a large Christian population, but I think in that area what we're talking about, it's the northern. There's a couple like provinces or states, I don't remember what they call them, or departments, that are having especially this problem in Nigeria.
Yeah. And so when the gays were crying, Nicki Minaj, she said, imagine hearing that Christians are being murdered and making it about you being gay. When my home was swatted multiple times with my innocent toddler inside, with maybe 20 officers with guns drawn pointed at our home due to political corruption, you being gay couldn't save me. Expecting someone to stay oppressed, abused, targeted, harassed, and consistently ignored by public figures who are supposed to be helping them says more about you than it does about anybody else. I'll advocate for you the same way that I'm advocating for the murdered Christians in Nigeria, like I always have. Just remember that. Diligently, compassionately, just remember that part too. LOL. And I know that you're not a die-hard fan. Let me think about if I want to block you for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Love you.
Oh my God. Perfect response.
Nikki is so funny. She is so funny. The whole time you're reading that, all I can hear in the background is her song where she's like, say it, claim it, name it, or whatever. We shot the devil up. I'm like, I like heard that song for the first time like a month ago, and I'm like, excuse me? Is Nikki doing gospel now? Like, go off, sis. Like, that's great.
Shaman.
Yeah.
It's just so typical of the gays. It's so typical.
It is.
It's always
how
about
can I
the
make
fucking
this
gays?
about me?
Like,
it's Brittany.
It's what is the current situation and how do I make it about my sexuality? It's just so exhausting.
You guys, but what about me?
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of like, Brittany from Salt Lake City. Exactly. Like, guys, exactly. That's a perfect reference.
Okay, well, now I want to talk about this. This is going to get us fired up. But I want to talk about this Gold's Gym locker room showdown. So there's this woman, Tish Hyman, and she happens to be a lesbian. She's part of the LGBTQIA2+ community. And it's funny because not only is she a lesbian, but she's also a Black woman. Mm-hmm. And she was at Gold's Gym and she was in the locker room and she came across Alexis Black, who is a trans woman. Here, we'll play the clip that she recorded that's been going viral on social media, and then we'll discuss it.
I thought it was Brandon.
Hold on. This is the second video, but let's play the first video of her. And this is the person that she encountered in the locker room.
I'm the guy asking you fucking questions. Exactly. Get out of the way now. No. Now he knows how to be a man, right? Now he knows how to be a man. Stay out of the women's locker room. We don't want it. He needs to have his gym membership revoked for that shit. And the woman told you. He assaulted me. The girl told already. We already filed reports. No. That's fine. I want the video. You can't get rid of me for this. I'm a woman and I have every right to not want a man in the restroom when I'm naked. There are girls naked in there. Look at them walking in there like it's okay. It's not okay. I understand. I'm not.
And then that was followed up.
Grown men with big dicks in the women's locker room. And that's why I'm getting kicked out. And I want to make sure the girls know. The fuck? Everybody saw that man in the fucking locker room. No one's saying shit. And I'm fucking done with it. It's fucking stupid. It's dangerous. Me naked in front of a man without my permission. I'm the one who gets kicked out the gym, y'all. I'm terminated for not wanting men in the locker room. And that
You see, there was another
Queen.
She was
That's all I have to
escorted
say.
out, and her gym membership was terminated as a result of this. And then Alexis spoke out to TMZ here. Well, she did a full interview, but we'll look at just a bit of it because it's kind of long. This is what Alexis had to say in response.
We spoke with Tish, and she said when she came face to face with you, it was obvious to her you were a man. So, I don't want to get terribly graphic here, but can you kind of explain, how you appeared? Do you believe that she was reading something in that you didn't appear to be male? She perceived you to be such.
Well, first, I told the people that.
Well, first of all, he has a dick, so let's just.
I was gonna say.
Okay, let's get back to Alexis.
Raised me that this is the way that I was when I was 8 years old, and really I stuffed it down pretty deep, and I began using hormones this year in February, and I actually relinquished that information to her about name change, and it says female on my ID and hormones, and I mean I'm registered as a female with the gym. So,
and were you at that moment? Because she told us about a couple of different encounters. Were you fully clothed at that moment?
Well, she has become aggressive with me on 4 different occasions, actually at different locations in Los Angeles at Gold's Gym. But fully clothed. I believe I was enrobed in a towel on one occasion. And this last time I was clothed the entire time. Yeah.
Okay. Again, I apologize if this is too graphic, but I just think it's important. Let's
speak truth, baby.
Okay. Have you fully transitioned?
Be clearer when you say that.
Your genitalia.
That is a process that requires a quite lengthy work. Like, for instance, I sat in a chair and had hair follicles removed from my face for 2 hours yesterday in a process called electrolysis.
Do you have a dick or not? It's that simple.
That surgery down there, one must have every single hair done that. In order to do that, it would take a year or two to have that done. That's literally not even a possibility with where I am in my transition.
So look, from her perspective.
Okay, I can't watch any more of this.
Thoughts? He's getting off
David,
on it.
So it's like, remember that girl that went to Pakistan from New York and showed Dave all those interviews?
Oneida Robinson.
And she's like, that's private, but no,
that's private.
That's literally the response that I got out of that. Like, it was like, have you gotten your transition done? And he's basically like, a lot of nonsense, but basically no. He has not.
Private,
so.
No.
And it looks like he was like getting off on it, on the attention. You could totally tell. And then there was another video with another angle where she's confronting one of the Gold's Gym employees and said, "Did he tell you how he said that ladies like to see dick?" Like, so when she confronted him about being naked in the women's locker room, he said, "Oh, women like to see dick, blah, blah." Like, that's so clearly a violation. Like, you're an autogynephile, you're not trans. It doesn't add up that you've said you've felt this since you were 8, but started doing hormones at 40, I assume. I don't know how old he is. But it's like, it's just gross, and it doesn't add up. You're completely an autogynephile. They specifically get off on entering forbidden places where they're not meant to be because they've had these fantasies forever, like locker rooms, bathrooms, and like safe spaces traditionally for girls. So that's why you see like the most egregious examples of trans people where they're so obviously male, because they get off on that very thing. They get off on the fact that, like, I'm in your space, I am violating you. It's actually quite manly. You know what I mean? It's very like misogynist, frankly, like to just kind of deny whatever women want whatsoever because you decided to don some ugly ass leggings. Like, I don't know.
It's always so funny to me how when you look at almost, I could pull up literally 100 examples of this, but how trans women or men who identify as trans women, they are like so like fun and trans until the moment that they are met with criticism, and then all of their masculine energy comes out, and they turn back and they're like ready to like, they're like, let's go.
Literally.
It's like, whoa,
ready to
like,
buck.
where did this come from? Like all of your testosterone.
No, because she even said that in the video too.
expressing.
She's like, "Oh, you're ready to be a man now."
Yeah,
like all these
like,
you're
they
standing
get
on business. Like I was like, "Oh my
very
god."
aggressive out of nowhere, and it's like, well, I thought, yeah. And then the other thing about this too is Joey Swole, who is like known for
He picked it up.
obviously protecting people in the gym. He came out and he was like, women have the right to feel safe in their locker rooms, like shame on Gold's Gym. And the response from the left was, this is the least surprising news ever. Joey Swole is a transphobe. And it's like, I just can't with this argument anymore. I do believe there is something in California state law that does play a part in this, that may be stopping Gold's Gym from reacting a certain way. I'm not entirely certain from the legal perspective. I haven't looked into it.
It's discrimination, because technically Alexis
they do the whole
is
self-ID thing, right?
a woman. I mean, but that's kind of crazy to me. It's like you just started taking hormones last year. You still have a full-on penis, but yet you're just now suddenly a woman on your ID. Like that to me is wild. And I'm all supportive you wanting to get fake boobs and get a fake vagina and do all of that stuff. If you want to get, the same way anybody's free to get a nose job or to get hair transplants or butt implants and look like Kim Kardashian, you do you, whatever makes you feel good and you feel your best self. But like, this is crazy. It's just like women do deserve to feel safe in these spaces. And I mean, it's hard because I see Gold's Gym and, they revoked Tish's membership. And I understand she's making a big ruckus in front of everybody and she's causing a big scene. But I also understand her frustration and her not wanting to change naked around somebody that she's uncomfortable with.
And it's
all of this is fine until the situation, like yesterday, there was a clip that surfaced or resurfaced of a guy in one of these gyms, like totally lubed up in the bathroom, like messing with himself. Yeah,
I saw that.
And it's like, like this is all fine and dandy, and let people ID the way that they want to until you've got men doing this in women's bathrooms, and it's like, this is why we have to stop this. Because if we let it happen at Gold's Gym and we let it happen at Target, it's going to be happening with kids involved, and it just gets worse from here. And that's what we should have put a stop to it a long time ago.
I'm sure Mamdani is.
And it's like a logical fallacy. It's like a logical fallacy. It's like the Mott and Bailey, where like what they present to everyone as like an acceptable argument is, it'll be like some beautiful, very well transitioned trans woman being like, do you really want me in the men's bathroom? You know what I mean? And they look very female. And that's like almost like an acceptable argument. You can see the logic there. But what's the actual Bailey? What's actually being pushed is that some dude yanking it in the bathroom, or some barely transitioned, full-on stubble, started taking hormones 10 minutes ago, is going to be in the bathroom in the same place with the locker room where there's young girls, children. We had that issue in Washington State. It became like a national story because there was this small business, a Korean small business, a spa that's a nude, like a mandatory nude spa. Whereas like there are a lot of Korean spas like that, and it was women's only, and it starts at age 13, so it's 13 plus. So you have minors in there, naked minors, and there was a trans-identified person with an erection in the spa right across from a naked teenage girl and her mother. And then what ended up happening is the owner, they're a small business, they're a Korean family, they have fairly traditional values. They wanted to kick that person out. That person sued, got like the, like the gay rights organization to sue the city and sue them on behalf. And they almost completely tanked the small business that was like an institution for like 30, 35 years because this disgusting freak who is sexualizing a spa experience in front of minors was able to like win the public sympathy argument. And that's crazy. Yeah. So I always like laugh when I see those like trans influencers being like, do you really want me in that? Or it's like, he's like the base trans man, Buck Angel. You know what I mean? They're like, do you want Buck Angel? And the girl, that's not who's trying to go into the bathroom. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting,
complete, like, falsity.
Here's an interesting point from Curb Your Enthusiasm on YouTube in the live chat. It says, from the trans perspective, they will say that they don't feel safe in men's bathrooms because men presenting in a feminine way. I mean, it's a fair argument.
Gay men, okay, but hold on. Like, as for gay men, like, do you know how much? Like, okay, when I go to the freaking baseball game and have to pee in front of like 12 other men in a trough, like, yeah, that's somewhat uncomfortable. Use a stall, like, if you're
I'll say this. I went to an event.
Use a stall.
I went to an event recently, and they had a non-gendered bathroom, but the way the bathroom was set up is it was an enclosed bathroom, but and it had stalls, but it was there was a non-gender whatever bathroom. So I'm in line to get into one of the stalls, and I'm in line with other men, with other gay men, and with women. And I'm standing there, I'm second next to get into the stall, and it's, again, in an enclosed space, and there's women, and they're all at the sink, and they're washing their hands, and they're touching up their makeup. And I was like, I feel so uncomfortable. Like, I'm not sexually turned on by this experience, but I'm uncomfortable because I feel like I'm invading this space where these women should be able to feel free to touch up their makeup and adjust themselves or do whatever they need or touch up their outfits or whatever that doesn't need any, like, dick around them. Like, I was so uncomfortable because I felt like I was invading their private space. And listen, you may call me different because I was raised to respect women and to, think that they deserve some level of decency and to not have their spaces infringed upon by men, because men can be gross sometimes. But I just was so uncomfortable in that situation. And then the woman behind me, she's like, oh, Republicans would hate this right now. And I was just like, I fucking hate this right now. Like, this is so uncomfortable for me.
Well, they weren't wrong.
Yeah, and
they weren't wrong. They weren't wrong.
I mean, like the speaking of Virginia, the whole Glenn Youngkin, the whole reason he even came to power was because of that horrendous case at oh my God, what was the county? I forget the town.
Loudoun County.
Loudoun County. Yeah. And it's like that boy was let into the bathroom because he was wearing a skirt and he self-ID'd through it, even though he had sexually assaulted a different girl at a different school, and that he transferred to a different school and then ends up sexually assaulting another girl who is allegedly his girlfriend at the time. But then when you go into the details of the actual assault, he, like, what's it called? What's like the medical term for butt stuff?
Sodomy?
Yeah, he's
sodomized her.
Yeah, which is not funny, but still, like, it's horrible.
Yeah, and this is why we have, like, one instance of this happening is too many instances of it happening. And so my position on this has always been that people should use the bathrooms that they were assigned at birth. I don't care, in my opinion, if you've transitioned or not. I don't care if you cut your dick off or not. I think that the only solution to keeping these spaces safe is use either the bathroom that you were assigned at birth, or you use the family bathroom that is like a single stall at, the grocery store or whatever, or you use a separate bathroom, or you wait until you get home. I'm sorry.
Whenever I'm at the airport, I always identify as a small family because I always use the family bathroom. So I don't fuck around with stall or the urinals and stuff. Gross. So it helps.
I identify. I love that. That's great.
When you're standing up to pee, you're standing up for the truth, David.
Amen. Even if it's in the
all
same.
right, guys. Yeah. Ew. On that note. Thanks for joining yet again, Ty. Thanks for coming on this week. Everyone, you can follow Tough Talk Ty.
Thank you.
You're on X. You're on Instagram. You're mostly on X, though, right?
And TikTok. Yeah, mostly I'm just on X, though, for the most part. So if you really want to see up to date, it's on X. Find me there.
Yes, you can find him on, and he has lots of different hot takes that you can subscribe to over on X.
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
There you are. There you go. Ty, thanks for coming on. David, thanks for coming on. Anything you want to leave anybody with, David? That's
don't get doom and gloomed. We had some really not so positive results around the country, but there's still hope. And like you said, the pendulum does swing back and forth, but we just need to take this time to really focus our party and our movement and not let what happened last night continue to happen because we're a little fractured right now.
Yeah, for sure. Shawn?
Yep, I think that the only thing that I would say is what I felt at the beginning of the night, or at the beginning of the podcast that I said, I was energized after last night. We've got 1 year until the midterms, and so we need to use that year wisely. And I think that we have the opportunity to do it. We just need to get to work. So,
yeah,
I agree.
All right. Shawn on the right, Tough Talk Ty, American David. Give them a follow. Give them some. Oh, Shawn, you didn't even notice my shirt.
I did notice it. Let's go. Thank you. 47 Club.
Yes.
Thank you. Look at that. Thank you.
I love that.
Yes, this one's my favorite. What Liberty or what does it say? Liberty or death?
Yeah, Liberty or death on the back with the cowboy skull and 47 on the hat. Yeah. So thank you for giving
My
it
shirt
another
says Tom
shot.
Brown.
This is a dolphin sweatshirt.
Is Tom Brown your way of standing up for all the immigrants because they're brown?
Yes. Thank you for reading into that. You get it.
Metaphor,
That's
right
what
there.
I'm here for. As a brown
Beautiful.
person, I feel seen. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
I love when the white people save me. What would I do?
I'm
without
not. I'm not looking brown enough. I meant to.
I was like, you gotta go
the tanning
outside.
salon.
Go outside.
You have to do what Whoopi Goldberg told people to do: get some cocoa butter and go bake out in the sun. That was wild when she said that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. I'll be back tomorrow here on No Filter, and then Shawn and David will be back next Tuesday, not Wednesday, but Tuesday, because that's the 1 year anniversary from the presidential election. Link Lauren will be here, and we will get into the past year since election night and what has transpired, what was good, what was bad, and where we go from here. All right. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Give me
Bye.
a follow. Just Plain Zack. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Ciao.